started comparing hygiene habits between Japan and countries like the US, the UK, and across Europe, a silent pattern emerged. It's not about who showers more. It's about who actually understands the spiritual meaning behind every act of cleansing. If you've ever taken care of your body, your skin, your home, and still felt this heaviness, this exhaustion that no soap seems to wash away, stay with me until the end, because the fifth habit on this list is the one that disturbs Japanese people the most, and it just so happens to be the exact thing quietly making so many of us sick on the inside in the West. I'm Zentara, and today we're going to understand why, in Japanese culture, hygiene was never really about the body. It was always about the soul. I finally compiled everything from this channel into a book, The Complete Japanese Woman. It covers your wardrobe, finances, beauty routine, and home, all built around authentic Japanese principles rather than rigid rules. It's not about owning less or doing more. It's about becoming the woman who already has everything under control. And that includes 3 bonus tools to help you get started today: an identity checklist, a finance spreadsheet, and a wardrobe organization worksheet. It's a digital book, ready for immediate download. Download your copy via the link in the first pinned comment. In Japan, the line between the sacred and the everyday is thinner than we imagine. The simple act of washing your hands before entering a Shinto shrine, the ritual known as temizu, performed at stone basins called chozuya, isn't just hygiene. It's a purification ritual, tracing back to the myth of Izanagi, one of Japan's creator gods, who cleansed himself in a river after visiting the world of the dead. That logic, that an unwashed body also carries emotional and energetic residue, still quietly shapes behaviors that Westerners consider completely normal, but which, through Japanese eyes, border on disrespect toward yourself and others. Let's go through all 5 habits, and more importantly, the ancient teachings we can bring into our modern lives, especially as women, who so often carry the invisible weight of caring for everyone else except ourselves. To a Japanese person, watching someone walk around indoors in shoes is almost a physical shock, and it's not pickiness. The separation between soto, the outside world, messy, chaotic, full of other people's energy, and uchi, the inside, pure, protected, your personal sanctuary, is one of the deepest structures in Japanese culture. The genkan, that small entryway step in Japanese homes, isn't just architecture. It's a spiritual boundary. There, you leave behind not just street dust, but also your exhaustion, your judgments, the chaos of the day. There's a Zen proverb that says, "Before you cross the threshold, leave the world outside." Think about your own routine. How many times have you come home after an exhausting day? Work, kids, traffic, pressure, and just kept going. Still in your shoes, still in the world, carrying every worry straight into your own bedroom, into the one place that's supposed to be your refuge? Japanese practice teaches us something simple and powerful. The physical act of removing your shoes can become a mental ritual of transition. It's not about the floor staying clean. It's about allowing yourself, even for 3 seconds, to feel that this space is yours, and that whatever comes from outside doesn't get to enter without permission. There's even a name for this in Japanese Buddhism: ma, the empty space, the necessary pause between one state and another. Without ma, we live in perpetual transition, never truly arriving anywhere. Not for others, and not for ourselves. Here's something that genuinely shocks any Japanese person visiting the West: the idea of getting into the bathtub already dirty in order to wash yourself inside it. In Japan, bathing in a tub, ofuro, is sacred. You never get into the tub without first washing yourself completely on the outside, seated on a small stool with a handheld shower, soap, and a full rinse. Only after that, clean, do you sink into the hot water of the tub? Water that is often shared by the entire family or reused night after night. Because ofuro water isn't for cleaning, it's for warming the body and calming the soul. This distinction between cleansing, removing dirt, and purification, restoring inner balance, comes directly from the Shinto philosophy of haraye, purification rituals that clearly separate physical dirt removal from spiritual restoration. This hits deep when we bring it into the life of a modern woman. We tend to blend everything together. We try to relax while we're still dirty with stress, with unresolved hurt, with unfinished tasks. We try to meditate with a mind full of to-dos. We try to rest before we've actually processed the day. The teaching here is clear. First, remove what needs to be removed. Only then allow yourself to rest. You can't step into the bathtub of your life, that moment of peace, of connection with yourself, while you're still carrying the dirt of the day. Separate the processes. First, emotional cleansing. Name what's bothering you. Cry if you need to. Breathe. Write it down. Only then, genuine rest. This habit, so common in Western homes, is seen in Japan as something close to an intimate taboo. In Japan, it's common to use a small, thin towel, a tenagui, or the classic Japanese washcloth, that gets changed and washed far more often than the large, fluffy Western towels that often hang in the bathroom for a week or more, absorbing moisture, bacteria, and, according to the Japanese worldview, stagnant energy. There's a Japanese aesthetic and spiritual concept called kegare no joka, the idea that objects in repeated contact with the body, without renewal, accumulate a kind of invisible weight. It's not visible dirt. It's what the Japanese call stuck, stale, repetitive energy. Have you already gotten your book, A Woman Japanese, complete? Click the link in the pinned first comment to download the book. Last copies available for download. And this opens up a reflection that goes far beyond the bathroom. How many things in your life are you reusing without realizing they were meant to be renewed long ago? Relationships that already served their purpose, routines that drain you but you keep out of habit, old thought patterns, beliefs inherited from another version of yourself that you keep using simply because they still seem to work, even though they're worn out, stale, lifeless. The Japanese philosophy of shinsen, freshness, renewal, teaches us that life requires constant cycles of renewal, in small things and in big ones. Changing the towel is a symbol. Changing thought patterns is real purification. This one is subtle, but it deeply bothers Japanese sensibility. The Western habit of openly sharing, loudly and in public, emotional problems, family conflicts, or personal frustrations, on public transit, at restaurants, at the hair salon. For the Japanese, there's a principle called meiwaku, an extreme care not to impose your own discomfort, noise, or negative energy onto a shared space with others. This isn't emotional repression, a common Western misreading. It's a form of invisible hygienic respect. Just as you wouldn't throw physical litter on the street, you also don't dump your emotional storm on strangers who never asked to receive it. This connects to the concept of kotodama, the ancient Japanese belief that words carry their own spirit and power. When you repeatedly speak your pain, your anger, your complaints out loud to anyone, anywhere, you're not just venting. According to this worldview, you're actually feeding and multiplying that energy in the environment, including inside yourself. For us women, this is revealing. We often confuse venting with processing. We talk and talk, repeating the same story of pain to 10 different people, and feel relief for a moment. But the wound stays open because we're cleaning the mouth, not the soul. The Japanese teaching here isn't keep everything inside. It's choose with awareness where, when, and to whom you expose your pain. There's a sacred time and space for release. A therapist, a journal, a trusted friend, a personal ritual. And there's simple noise, which only spreads what should have been transformed. We've arrived at the habit that most shocks Japanese sensibility, and coincidentally, the most symbolic one for our emotional life. In Japan, there's a practice called soji, far beyond just cleaning the house. Soji is a ritual of spiritual discipline, practiced even by school children, who literally clean their own classrooms every day with no outsourced cleaning staff. The philosophy behind this comes from Zen Buddhism, specifically the monastic practice called soji in temples, where sweeping the floor and cleaning the hidden corners nobody sees is considered a purification exercise, just as important as seated meditation. So, what truly disturbs a Japanese person isn't the visible mess of a Western home. It's the habit of only cleaning what's on display, leaving the back of the closet, behind the furniture, the inside of the washing machine, the dark corners, to accumulate dirt, because no one sees it anyway. There's an extraordinary Zen teaching on this, attributed to masters like Dogen, founder of the Soto Zen school in the 13th century. How you clean what is hidden reveals how you treat yourself when no one is watching. And here's the truth that stings. How many of us have already swept things under the rug, literally and emotionally? Old wounds, unresolved trauma, buried resentment, simply because no one else needs to know they exist. We smile on the outside, spotless in public, while inside, in the corners no one sees, everything sits untouched. So here's the uncomfortable truth behind all 5 habits. None of them are really about cleaning. They're about self-respect made visible through small, repeated actions. The Japanese don't take their shoes off, wash before bathing, change towels often, guard their words, and clean hidden corners because of superstition. They do it because of a belief woven into the culture for centuries. How you treat the invisible parts of your life is who you really are. And if you felt a quiet ache reading through this list, that's not an accident. It's recognition. Because so many of us, especially as women, have become experts at managing what's visible. The smile, the home, the routine, the I'm fine. While the unseen parts of us go untouched for years. So here's the uncomfortable truth hiding behind all 5 habits. None of them were ever really about cleaning. They were about self-respect made visible through small, repeated actions. The Japanese don't take their shoes off, wash before bathing, change towels often, guard their words, and clean hidden corners because of superstition. They do it because of something woven into the culture for over 1,000 years. How you treat the invisible parts of your life is who you actually are, not who you pretend to be. And if you felt a quiet ache somewhere in this list, that wasn't an accident. That was recognition. Because so many of us, especially as women, have become experts at managing what's visible. The smile, the clean home, the put-together routine, the I'm fine, don't worry about me. Meanwhile, the unseen parts, the corners behind the furniture, the towel that's been hanging too long, the words we swallow instead of speak, the rest we never actually let ourselves take, go untouched for years, sometimes for a lifetime. There's an old story told in Zen monasteries about a young monk who spent his first year doing nothing but soji, sweeping floors, wiping wooden beams, scrubbing corners no visitor would ever see. One day, frustrated, he asked his master, "Why do I clean what no one will ever notice?" The master replied, "Because you are not cleaning the floor. You are cleaning the one who cleans." That single sentence is, in many ways, the heart of everything we talked about today. The shoes at the door, the order of washing before bathing, the towel you renew, the words you choose to release, and the ones you choose to keep sacred. The corner behind the closet no one else will ever open. None of it was ever about impressing anyone. It was never a performance for guests, for neighbors, for social media, for anyone watching. It was a private conversation between you and the parts of yourself that no one else will ever witness. The parts that quietly decide how much peace you actually get to feel at the end of the day. You don't need to become Japanese. You don't need incense, a temple, or a subscription to minimalism. Zen doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for honesty with the parts of yourself no one else sees. So tonight, before you go to bed, I want you to try just one small thing. Not 5, not all at once, just one. Take off your shoes at the door, like it actually means something, like you are leaving the noise of the world outside and not carrying it into your own sanctuary. Wash before you rest. Not just your body, but whatever heaviness you've been carrying since morning. Name it. Breathe it out. Only then allow yourself real rest. Notice one hidden corner in your home or somewhere quieter in your heart that has been waiting patiently for your attention. You don't have to fix it tonight. You just have to finally see it. That's Kegare no Joka. That's Soji. That's Ma, the sacred pause between who you were today and who you get to become tomorrow. That, in the end, is what purification really means. Not perfection, not spotless floors or flawless skin. Just the quiet decision to stop abandoning the parts of yourself that nobody else is responsible for, except you. If even one sentence in this video made you pause, made you feel a little seen, that's exactly why this channel exists. Zenterra isn't here to add another rule to your already full plate. It's here to remind you, gently, of what so much of the modern world has taught us to forget, that caring for yourself was never supposed to be loud, complicated, or performative. Sometimes it's as quiet as a towel changed on time, or a sentence left unsaid until the right moment, or a corner finally swept clean, not for anyone else, but for you. If this resonated with you, consider staying a little longer in this space. Subscribe to Zenterra, because next week we're going even deeper into a Japanese principle almost no one in the West truly understands. One that might be even harder to hear than everything we covered today. The art of doing nothing without guilt. Until then, take off your shoes, breathe, and let something invisible finally be seen.